Hello guys and welcome to this special webinar. Here we're going to talk about why does your inbound feel like feast or famine, right? No matter how consistent you try to be. And one thing we're going to look at here is the pipeline layer. So this is a fifth webinar out of an eight webinar series in the visibility verdict, right? Some of you may have thought that your main problem was the fact that you are not visible, so you've been putting in more content. So the visibility verdict is here to help you understand that it might not only be a problem of more content, right? Some of the things that are already lying in your content must be reviewed, and that's what this webinar is all about. All right. So this is for the coach whose bookings feels like feast of famine. What do I mean by feast of famine, right? Sometimes there's so much money, right? So much abundance, you surpass your monthly revenue, good profit, right? But some other times, despite the fact that nothing has really changed about the market or there have not been some macroeconomical changes, you end up seeing that there is literally nothing, right? Famine, literally you are barely seeing profit. So it looks like ups and down, ups and down, ups and down. What's causing that, right? And which type of understanding do you need to have to overcome that? So no matter how consistent you are, this is what you kind of observe. And you're already making maybe 5,000 plus per month, right? And you are consistent, and the inconsistency is not about effort. It's about timing you've never measured. And you see that clearly. So it's not like you are a lazy coach. It's not like you are inexperienced. It's not like people don't like your offer. People are buying and you are doing stuff. So why the inconsistencies? All right, so a month of strong booking is followed with no obvious cause by a month of near silence. That's kind of what you've observed. So maybe this content is actually for you if you're that. And then you are doing roughly the same things in both the strong months and the quiet ones. And you still wonder what's happening. You pushed harder, right? During 5 months and relax during feast. So when things are going wrong, things are going a little bit slow, it seems like you are trying hard, right? And but when things are going well, it seems like you are relaxing. And the pattern hasn't really improved. And then you stop a strategy. You stop a strategy that felt like it wasn't working, only to wonder later if you quit too soon, right? So you've been trying stuff. You've been trying things here, watching this video here, applying this here, buying this course, consulting with this particular bigger coach, right? And still, it seems like you are giving up early. And sometimes you go and wonder, maybe I'm not sticking to something for long enough. And sometimes that might be the case. So this webinar will help us dissect this entire thing. All right, so here's exactly where the argument is going. So the first thing is that we're going to look at why your booking feels random, no matter how consistent you are. Second thing, why the advice of just stay consistent, and then you hear it so much, right, in the content space. Just stay consistent doesn't apply to feast or famine months. And then the pipeline lags. Like this is a unique framework that we have at the Growth Masters Consult, and we share it with you over here completely free. Right? If you're enjoying this, make sure you guys a like, you subscribe, you share this video to a coach, to a fellow consultant you care about. And then four, we're going to map your exact, you are going to do that. This is like a practical video. This is not the video to get you excited, to make you feel like you're advancing without really advancing. This video is very practical, only meant to move the needle forward for you. So we're going to map your last 6 months of content against your bookings. And we're going to tell you exactly what to look out for in this mapping. The fifth thing we are doing is that we are looking at how one consultant escaped feast or famine months by fixing a 45-day gap. All right. So this is a very practical case study. I'm going to see exactly how it works, and then why you stop marketing at the exact moment is about to work. So this is something that you will notice in your work. You will notice it in your work. And then the seventh thing that we're going to look at is the lag proof content rule that keeps you consistent. And then eight, so why does your pipeline feel random, and what changes this week? What do you need to make now out of whatever has been said in this webinar that will move things forward for you? All right, part one, why your bookings feels random no matter how consistent you are. So if you are watching this webinar, this part of the series, all right, make sure you watch the entire webinar, or you watch other videos in that series as well. They will help you greatly. So the famine isn't a mystery. It's a traceable result of stopping during the lag. So there's a lagging season where things seem like they are being slow, you are being delayed, things are moving in the direction you are not enjoying. And what you will say, what you actually observe as the key reason behind these feast and famine months, repeating themselves across the business or across the year, is a traceable result of stopping during that lag time. So it can be traced, and you are going to trace it out in this webinar. So what's actually happening? So a coach does strong visibility work. So you are posting out content, sees no immediate booking response, conclude it isn't working, and stop or pulls back right as that same work is about to start converting on its own, right? And so you put in work, you are doing stuff, but it seems like I not really see anything. Nobody is really like, nobody is inquiring, no change in the views, no change in the engagement. And it seems like things are not working. But the truth of the matter is that things are actually working. Just that you end up, because of that wrong way of seeing things not working, you end up actually giving up too early. So why this is so quietly damaging? So it may not always look so obvious why exactly, I mean, this should be changed. But when you look at it at the bigger level, you see exactly why you need to address this particular problem. So it doesn't just cause bookings, it causes confidence. And I mean, if you've been in that case, you will know what I'm talking about. I've been there before. It's not really comfortable. You think that, oh, but I'm so talented, I'm so knowledgeable, I know this, I do that, right? You do all sorts of things. So why does it seem like you are not able to have consistent months? So it can lower your confidence. You can even end up thinking that you are not so good, right? You are not knowledgeable what to know. But truly, it's not really about knowledge. It's just about understanding and having the willingness to be patient in those lack seasons. And we're going to see that more clearly. So let's look at it practically. So same effort, two different readings. Read too early, right? Or read too early. So judge 1 week, right? After the work went out. So zero booking visible yet. So it looks like everything has failed. So the first coach is do putting in the work, and there have been no booking. No booking. This is a very special webinar because I know it's going to help so many people. I've had these thoughts and I've been putting it into words, into frameworks for some weeks because I was able to know sometimes you're actually doing the right thing. Everything that was supposed to be done, you are just doing it. But there's this element of patience, of time. Time has its works. If you're knowledgeable in scripture, like how they call it, there's scripture that talks about patience working things. There's something that patience works. Patience works something in you, patience works something in the work, patience works something in the people around you as well. So let's look at the other approach. So the same person read the mantra or read whatever is happening. Nothing is really happening. But then he observes something unique here. He judges the 30 to 60 days after the same work. He's not only looking at him doing the work now or what's happening or what's not happening. He's judging what's happening after. He's giving some time. And what ended up happening is that because he's giving himself time, because he's not stopping the posting, he's not stopping the commenting, he's not stopping the publishing, what ended up happening is that there's a booking spike. So the work was always producing something. The posting was always doing something, but it was compiling, right? It was compounding over time. So that presence daily, that presence weekly was needed before whatever seems like a result, what that booking will ever happen, right? So when you kind of understand it, it changes everything. So part two, why just take consistent advice doesn't explain your feast or famine months. Right. So you hear it a lot. You hear it a lot. Whenever things are going slowly in terms of content, the first thing you hear is that you need to be consistent. Just be consistent. It's great. But I've come to understand that when you give people advice and you don't strengthen the depth of their revelation, the depth of their conviction, they are going to stop that advice very soon. So you tell them what they're supposed to do, right? But when you've not told them this is why you are supposed to do that, when we're not only even telling them, they must feel it. They must feel it. And that's how we will design this webinar. We're not designing things to just tell you things. You are going to feel why you need to make the change. And that feeling is going to be strong enough, numerical enough, data-like enough to cause you to carry that type of inspiration over time. Right? So let's look at it. So a coach can be entirely consistent and still experience peace and famine months. That's unfortunately part. So what we usually see is that there is a cause and effect are separated. So whatever causes revenue to come, right? And what happens when revenue is there, there are two separate things, and you see it more practically in the next slide. So pushing harder in the farmer month and relaxing in the feast makes it worse. So in the farmer month, right, you stop posting for some time, then things are going worse, things are going bad. Now you are increasing the energy, you are increasing the posting. It may seem like a reasonable thing, right? And then what also happens is that at the same time, when things get easy, you also relax, right? Things get good, you also end up relaxing. So that particular dynamic makes everything completely worse. It makes the whole thing worse completely. So the tell that you are in this trap, how to tell that you are in this trap? So you've been consistent by most definition. So whatever people call, whether it's 3 times a week, 4 times a week, 5 times a week, every single day you are posting, whatever they call consistency over there, you've been at it, you've been doing some stuff, right? So it's not like you are not putting it out. But what we are seeing is that yet booking volume still swings widely month to month with no obvious pattern you can name. So you are doing the right things right. You are putting the right post. You are applying the hashtag, the SEO stuff, whatever the guru said, the imagery, perfect and everything. But I mean, it seems that there's no clear reason why things are not picking up, but you are still consistent. So the first isn't more effort. It's a human thing. When things are not responding to us, we try to apply more force to it. But there is a way to apply force. There's a way. Wisdom is a force. Knowing the right thing to do and doing it at the right time is a force. But it's not the obvious thing for us to look at, right? We had to look at, okay, maybe there's something in my attitude towards this thing that's not right. What you end up doing, what will be the wrong thing to do is that is measuring the actual delay between your work and its payoff. So quiet stretches stop being read as evidence and start being read as timing. So the time that you end up seeing that there's seemingly nothing going on, you don't look at it like, okay, this shows that the business is not going well. This is clear evidence. Come on, 9 weeks without orders, right? 4 weeks without orders, 3 weeks without orders. I've been putting in time, I've been putting in this and that, no cost, no booking. What's happening? So what you end up seeing is that the timing needs to be fixed. What would be the right thing to do is to actually read it as timing, right? You are putting in some layers, you are putting in some layers, you are putting in some layers. So every single day of posting, with or without results, is building towards something. All right. So how do you apply this whole assessment, this quick self-assessment? The first thing is that you want to the goal is to lead you into stop reading the quiet weeks, right? Into as a verdict, right? As a proof of things not going well for you. So the first thing is that you want to pause any plan to dramatically ramp up outputs. So anything that you plan that, okay, I'm going to, maybe every week I used to post 3 times a week. I'm going to post now 12 times in a week so that the orders can come way, way faster. And that will not be the right approach. That will just not be the right approach unless you are intentionally just building a library. But if it's for the sake of just posting, you just want to increase your volume because you are not seeing the type of content, the type of engagement you're supposed to see, that will not be the right thing to do. If you've not faced that some things in the business, that mainly with your mindset towards the business. And the second thing is resist the urge to pull back either. So some people too will hear what we are talking about and go like, "Oh, I just need to stop posting." If there's just it, I just need to stop posting. I just need to reduce my posting. So that's not what we're saying here. What we're saying here is that both reaction assume effort and results move together in real time. They don't. So if you're going to, right, in a very practical way, I don't usually use this, but I think I'm going to use this. Where is it? All right. So let's say this is a graph. So here you have time. I'm putting it as T. And then you have, I don't know, it can be, I want to put growth over here, right? A big uh, G, right, over here. So posting your posting can be going like this. As time is going, right, it can be going straight. So as we're moving forward with time, you are increasing your volume. You are moving from 1 post to 2 posts to 3 posts to 7 posts over time on your timeline, right? That's great. That's the effort you are putting in. So that's E, efforts. I didn't plan to have this graph, but I just like the idea of having it as well. I'm sure it's going to help people visualize what we're talking about. So now, what we really want is not only effort, it's results. You want to see bookings increasing, you want to see revenue increasing, you want to see sales going through the roof, right? So let me show you exactly what happens when it comes to when it comes to this graph most of the time. And that's why like business at the end of the day is a mental game and also a spiritual game. The state of your spirit towards whatever you are doing, it matters. So you start going with it. So this is what the results graph looks like. So it starts like this. Are you seeing how slowly it's taking time, right? And then start going like this. That's what end up happening with your results. So for a long while, it seems like you are not seeing anything. It seems like nothing is happening. But but right? But what's actually happening is that I have a lot to say over here. There's a lot in this period when nothing is going on, the market is actually filtering out those who don't believe or those who don't deserve to be here. Those who don't have the stamina to be here. Truly, that's what happens. So by the time things start picking up, right, whatever time, whether it's 3 months, whatever it takes in your market, you observe it when you go through some of the things I will talk about. By the time that time of, I mean, those season of on and off stop, right, what end up happening is that those who stay, right, are those who some way somehow have the mental stamina and both the thinking stamina, right, the right state of spirit to actually be in that particular market or operate at a certain level in that particular market. So that's really how you want to see this. So if you know that if you why not you clearly see that results, right? This is results graph. That's what is in blue. That efforts and results don't move at the same speed. You can control the effort side, and that's fine. But the result side, the way to control it is not by putting in more effort, is by really understanding how results work and how they actually get to manifest themselves and what you are expected to be doing, right? While those things that you want to see are not showing up. All right. So that was just a quick one. I think Claire, beautiful. So let's continue. So the third thing you want to do in this particular assessment is that you want to hold your current baseline steady for now. So whatever you say you are doing, whatever you say you are going to do every week or every month, you want to keep of it until you measure your actual lag in part four, which is the next part of this webinar. You are going to treat the quest stretch as unread data. So don't interpret the data. If you don't do what we were saying in part four, don't be so quick to say, oh, this is my lag. Oh, this is the time I need to be pushing through. Just leave it as data that is not readable, right? Just for your own sake. All right, so part three. So here we are going to introduce something that will help you, right, clearly understand what's happening. So the pipeline lag. All right, trademark. Yes, that's from the Growth Masters Consult. The hidden 30 to 60-day gap between your content and your bookings. So the hidden 30 to 60-day lag between your content and your bookings. All right. So this is a graph that we put for you together. I think it should help you clearly understand what we're talking about here. So the pipeline lag again. So a real measurable gap between visibility work, landing, and the book call. So you are putting in work, you are doing this stuff, but there's a season, right? There's something that happens between you putting the work and you seeing the type of results you want to see. And if even after you go through this, you will understand what accounts for some people always in another webinar, I will talk about how to shrink that time. Because you can shrink that time, you can shrink the lag time. It can be 60 days as it is, but as you grow into the business, based on what you keep doing, it can become just how they call it. It can just become 50 days and then 45 days and then 30 days. Right? So I mean, you're not forced to actually move with a certain speed when it comes to things. So I'm writing this down. I didn't, it's just an idea that just came to me. So I'll just have the So webinar on how to shrink lag time. So you could just do a webinar video. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I mean there will be the community link in the page as well. So make sure you also join the community as well. We look forward to hearing from you. All right, so day zero, right? First day of work. So visibility work posted, right? You are posting content over here. So what do we end up seeing? So most coaches somewhere over here, right? This is the greener part, the greener side. This is what we really want. This is what seems like a darker side. All right, so most coaches judge here. So they start judging here like that. So too soon. The work hasn't had time to convert yet. And I always say, I've been saying since from the very first webinar, if we put ourselves in the shoes of the people that we consider as our target audience or our potential customers, we will be different in the way we approach business. We usually say that we think about the customer, but I've come to observe that we usually don't think much about the customer. We just think about meeting our goals, and whenever we don't meet them, we question everything based on if today you are, for example, maybe like a customer, right? And you are your viewer. If you are going to spend money on somebody, maybe spend your time working with a certain coach or someone, rarely will it even take you just seeing one video to know that okay, this is the person I want. Or just seeing one coach, no, this is the person I want. Most of the time it will take so many touch points. In the first webinar, we deal with the authority gap. There has a lot, it deal with a lot of, we touch a lot on this subject of touch point, right? Trust. It takes something to have this trust being built over there. So it's just too early for the content that you are putting to start resonating with the people. And sometimes the person will end up messaging you or maybe booking you, maybe watching your videos over and over, may find the first video nice, but they are not yet at that place of, I want to do business with this person. Or there are some things going on in their lives. Maybe the money that they may have the money that you think they need to have to work with you now, but that money too was already planned to work towards something. So there are many factors going on in the mind of the customer. And when we put ourselves in their shoes, I think it changes things completely, right? So then, what's the mindset over here? I told you that this uh, what is it? I don't know whether you can. It's still possible for me to see the drawing. All right. I told you that this particular, let me find another color. So this is graph upon graph, but I think it's needed. So this particular time, this is what we want to spike, but this particular time, where it seems like nothing is going on, is the market fishing out those who don't have the stamina, or those who are not supposed to be there for a billion reasons. All right, for a billion reasons. Today is not the time to talk about that, but you will need to have a certain understanding to survive this. All right, that's what I wanted to point out too. All right, let me just remove it quickly. All right, so what's the mindset of people over here? So 30 to 60 days later, right where most coaches have already stopped. So you usually see that it actually converts here. So what you see is that most coaches have stopped. Here, the market is overloaded. Everybody is posting, is continuing their posting, how they call it, posting, how is it called when you are doing something over and over continuously, right? They are posting campaign, they are doing it over and over, they are continuing with it, right? They are doing it consistently, right? And then many people are doing that. But the number, if you see, if maybe 1 million people start on the same day, you measure 1 million people start here. Maybe here you see 50,000 people over here that are still doing it every 30 day. So most of the time, I've spoken about it before, but like you will need to believe something, right? To really have a certain mindset. It's mindset that will keep you at work over here. Mindset and data actually, right? Data strengthen the mindset, but there must be something more than what you think you have seen or what you think is working or not working. That's holding you in this thing. So by the time you go through the 30 or 60 days, through it, you start seeing your booking spike. People start booking, people start reaching out to you. And then what you also see is that you have a lot of content over here. So some way, somehow, that's what I'm talking about. the time that it takes, the lag time starts shrinking. Because most of the time, right, in the eyes of the viewers, maybe they need to watch video A, B, C, D, E, F, J, right? H, and then like eight videos before seeing. But based on the content that you made, you only have four videos that they can watch. And the algorithm, whatever algorithm it is, know based on their watch history, right? Know based on their watch history, particularly in 2026. The algorithm knows based on their watch history what they're actually looking for, even based on their comment, what they're actually looking for, what they're actually desiring. So if that gap, right, that gap of four videos out of eight videos that's supposed to be made and watched by them is not being filled by you and it's being filled by someone else, despite the fact that they will come somewhere and order from you, right, you would have a longer time before that happens. I say everything changes when you see things from the perspective of the customer. Everything changes. So having that compassion and that desire to actually see what they are feeling on the other side helps a lot. So the lag doesn't mean the work failed. It means that it hasn't converted yet. Yet is a keyword over here. All right. So in a very practical way, let's look at the this pipeline lag and then the two working parts. So the first one is the lag exists on every platform. That's what you want to understand. All right. So content, be it content, a webinar, a networking conversation, a referral introduction, there is almost always a real gap between first exposure and a book call. People rarely act on the first touch, no matter how strong it is. Again, the keyword there is rarely, not that it doesn't happen, but we are saying that what can you do out of 10 times? That will work nine times. Not you don't want to build your philosophy around the thing that work more. You don't want to build it on it's possible that you can meet somebody today, have an introduction, you hear about you tell them about your business, you tell them about what you do, right? They like what you do, then they give you the biggest ever order. It can happen, but for even those who have these type of things out of their business journey or their business stories, how many times did that happen? For those who are consistent. If you compare how much money they make out of those one first meeting, big order type of thing, right, compared to how much they usually make by putting system, you see that whatever they make on rare occasions, on those one first encounter first order is relatively very low, really really low compared to what they make on the consistent system that they put. So the goal of this whole thing is just tell you that whatever the lack happens everywhere in life, right? It happens everywhere. So you meeting somebody, you webinar, whatever it is, there's a time where the person needs to know you, needs to hear from you, right? Stay in touch with them, and then something bigger comes from it, right? The thing about your audience online is that most of the time you are not the one going to send content to them. What you will do is, or what we do is that we post content on the platform and then we let the algorithm direct the content to them based on their needs and based on how appealing our content is to them, again, based on their needs. That's what we do. So the second part of this whole pipeline lag is the lag is invisible in the moment. So noticing, I mean, nothing about how strong the piece of visibility work signal, right? Its own delay time. It doesn't matter how strong, how powerful, or how well edited your video is. As I'm talking to you now, there is somebody who has posted a video at a Mr. Beast level that will not get Mr. Beast type of visibility. Not because he's not good, not because he is not at the level of Mr. Beast. But there's just time. Mr. Beast is not having the views that he's having just because he's posting good content. Time works something for him. And I only want, I mean, coaches to fully understand that anybody building anything great. For me, it's been an eye opener and it keeps me grounded doing the work or doing what I'm supposed to do, right? You just know I'm doing the right thing. Sometimes you just need it. And it's crazy because around you, everybody can think that you are doing something wrong, right? You yourself, you can think you are doing something wrong. That's why the rates are delaying. But rarely will you hear people tell you that you just take your time. Just be patient. Really. And that's a sign of wisdom, truly. When people can come to you and can understand that you are not doing something wrong, but time also works something in you or works something in the market. Then now you're having a full counsel, right? Then what you're supposed to do, then what also time we do as well. So the trap is self-reinforcing. That's where you have to really understand this. How bad can it get? This is the whole point of this slide. How bad can it get? So how the loop runs. So stopping visibility work during a quiet stretch guarantees a famine roughly one lag period later. So when you stop the work in a in a lag season where things are not going well, you are sure that there's going to be a time coming up, be it 30 days, be it 15 days, be it 90 days, where it seems like things are going to be a little bit slower, right? In terms of revenue. And then which reinforces the belief that quest stretches was a failure, which produces more stopping. Think about how catastrophic that can be. And that's the point of this webinar, trying to stop those type of things. And it can be like, if you check this, like 90% or 80% of people that feel stuck in coaching or anything, that seems to be going through cycles over and over again. This is a problem. This is a problem. You may know the right thing to do, but how do you understand or how do you interpret times where you are doing the right thing and then nothing seems to be changing? All right, so what breaks the loop? The pattern repeats indefinitely unless the lag itself is measured and accounted for. So what will happen once is a known number, the loop has nothing left to run on. So what you were doing, the mistake what was happening, the mistake that many of us were doing is that we will usually take this loop or this particular lag time and immediately put on it failure time, bad coach time, not good enough coach. Put all the negative connotation to it. But what the system or what we are showing you here is to take that number, not reject it, not say, not deny it. Take that number and give it a different interpretation. And we're not telling you to make something out of nowhere. We are just telling you to look at your data, look at things that are being done by yourself and things that have been done in the past and only give the right name to that particular thing because it's not a failure time. It's not a lag time at all, right? It's a natural part of the process. All right, so the pipeline lag at one glance. So the first thing is exists everywhere. That's the first thing you have to understand that lag time or lag exists everywhere. Right? Every platform has a real gap between exposure and booking or exposure and sales. Every platform has something like that. Though the only places where you may not see it is for those who already have built a big enough audience in the market and popularity beyond the screen or beyond the phone. That allows them to be visible and to be marketable and to sell anywhere. Ronaldo never had a YouTube channel, but Ronaldo was already big on Instagram, already big on Facebook, already big on other social media platform. So when he came on YouTube, right, and if you are a brand trying to work on a sponsorship deal with him, you obviously wouldn't want him to want to think that, oh, because this guy just came on YouTube, I'll pay him something less. No, you pay him like you pay any other YouTuber who has had the same type of following. Because he's not just coming there as a new person, he came with an audience. And that audience easily found him and still have the same feeling, the same emotions towards him. The platform just changed. Which some will somehow even bring in more excitement because it brought a lot of excitement, right? When the platform changed. So the next thing about the pipeline lag is the being invisible now. And that now you understand. So nothing signals its own delay time in the moment. So the great posts that you are making, the great videos that you are making, with all the effect, with all the time you are spending editing. I'm not saying don't spend time making great content. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm just saying that great content, which is effort, doesn't guarantee the speed at which you will get the results. And I'll show it to you visually with two graphs at least, right? So the third thing is self-reinforcing. So stopping early guarantees the next farmer. That's a funny thing. So if you are not addressing this thing very early, right, you keep on stopping too early in your content and keep on reinforcing the belief that there's something wrong with you, or keep on making sure that there's a nice next farmer in the pipeline. And you don't really want that. Nobody wants that for you. All right. So the part four. So map your last 6 months of content against your bookings to find your lag. So this is a part of the webinar. Make sure you watch the other videos in this webinar or watch the entire webinar together. Let's go. So it's a practical session as well. So this audit works because it measures delay. I'm sure you don't hear that of most often in the market that people want to measure delay. Right? Most of the time, I want to say they want to give you stuff that will cause you to not see any delay because that's what they know your mind is drawn towards. That's what they know you are hungry for. Right? And that's unfortunately not always the full truth. Right? Sometimes there's something in it. There's a natural part of it that may take time. So not same week results. So we're not talking about measuring or doing things that will get you same week results over here. All right. So what it is, a simple plot of major visibility pushes against the course book in the weeks that follow, revealing a personal trackable lag instead of invisible one. So this is a clear measure, a clear, analysis of whatever is being done. That will allow you to know clearly what's happening with your business. So what can make this whole audit fail? So measuring against the same week results, which produces an artificial short inaccurate lag estimate. So how do you fix that? So always look weeks ahead, not at the moment of publishing. So you don't want to measure, okay, I published this week. I published last week. This was supposed to see this week. This is not going to give you an accurate lag time. So you want to look to weeks ahead. I cannot tell you 6 weeks or 7 weeks, but weeks ahead, not the nearest week, because that's usually not how the compounding effect here does work. All right, so a reflection worksheet over here, something that will help you go through it practically. First thing is when was this is your content. So when was the last time I stopped marketing because it felt like it wasn't working? Honest answer, honest answer. Two, if I map my last 6 months of content against bookings 30 or 60 days later, what pattern will I likely find? So you probably have to do that. If in 6 months you stop 3 times, you have to answer that 3 times. So, okay, if I map out my last month of content, right, the last time I posted content, right, over differences in the past 6 months, and the time of booking, like what time frame can I see, how many weeks can I see, how many days difference can I see, and you will see it clearly if you measure, you see it. You see it clearly. And then what pattern will I likely find? There will be a pattern that will start showing up. The third thing is, does my lag differ noticeably between platforms based on what I've observed so far? So based on what we've observed so far, is your lag different based on different platform, right? Is your lag looking different based on different platforms? Sometimes it actually does. All right. And then what's my personal minimum baseline of visibility work I will commit to maintaining through a quiet stretch, right? So this is a sincere thing, right? Beyond everything that you're already doing, what's your minimum baseline of visibility work I will commit to maintaining through a quiet stretch? So maybe quiet stretches are not funny for you. They are not fun for you. I don't think they are fun for anybody. And you don't want to stop posting, but you also can't overdo. Right. So what you want to do at that moment is to agree on a minimum baseline. Right. Maybe 3 posts, maybe four, maybe 5 posts, based on whatever you're doing. How many can you guarantee you keep doing? Whether a good month or a bad month, this will be happening. And then five, how will knowing my exact lag change how I feel during my quiet months? So you answer that sincerely. If you know what exactly your lag time is, as it has been explained here, what will change about your approach towards the next month? All right, so part five, this is a case study. So how one consultant escaped feast-or-famine by facing a 45-day gap in a very practical way. So a consultant who repeatedly paused visibility work during quiet stretches, assuming it wasn't working, until the lag was actually mapped. All right, so one number changed how the whole business felt. 45 days. So he found his lag time. That was 45 days. The map lag. But look through the content here, apply what we said, and then find out, okay, this is what actually happened. So consistent between content pushes and booking spike. So you can see what causes or how long it takes for his content to work or to cause something in the market. So he also concluded with two cycles to smooth the pattern. So roughly 90 days of holding the baseline. So 45 days of doing great work, 45 days of doing whatever works it takes to make sure that things are moving, to not be a victim of the lag time affecting you. So it becomes a 90-day. So for 90 days, regardless of what happened, you are going at it back to back, back to back, back to back. So that become quarter after quarter. That's is after this thing has been mapped out. And he didn't increase any extra stuff. He even reduced. You can be saying he even reduced. Right? It's after all this has mapped out that somebody can be bold and know that there is a meaning in the advice of being consistent. If this is not being told, if the person doesn't know this, if you tell them to be consistent, this is great. It's great advice. They can wake up and post, but the lag will eat them out. Right? We push them out of the market. And you can see like there's a lot of space we push out of the market. All right, so what actually changed? So response to quiet stretches. Before, pause visibility. What did the coach do? Was he pause immediately visibility work. So when he sees that things are not moving, he just pauses. But now, what does he do? What's the right attitude? He holds the baseline steady. So whatever baseline they decide to hold, regardless of season, that keeps on coming, regardless of what is happening. And then lag awareness, unmeasured, invisible. So before that was what's happening. He didn't know that there was any lag time. He was not measuring anything. So now what happens now? He is known now. It's 40 days and trusted. So he knows that this was actually happening. 45 days, I could have 45 days where it seems that whatever I'm doing is not really producing anything. I just need to have something doing and cross over that period. That's all. And then booking volume. I think sometimes one easy way to really understand is to look at rain, right? Rain and the weather. As much as sometimes we want to have sun, we want to have rain here and there. When the rain starts and you want to go out and you can't go out, you just wait for the rain to end and then you just go out. If this makes sense, I think you just think like every industry, every market has its behavior. Not everything is like you are the wrong guy, you are the bad guy, or you are doing something wrong. Every industry has its behavior or has its market. Okay, that's why those who have been around for a longer time seems to win in most markets because they've come to understand this subconsciously. Maybe they've not named it lag time or name it anything that will name it over here, but they know how the market behaves. They know what being consistent means for their markets. So booking volume, feast or famine swings, right? So in the past, bookings would be like on and off, very great, very low could be happening in the same business. What ended up happening next is that it's predictable month after month to month, month to month. So this is an app you want to really appreciate wisdom, right? In this case, because you just this is knowledge being applied at the right moment at the right time, right? To actually solve a problem. So emotional volatility. Before, when things seems to be going on and off, right? There used to be high, quiet weeks read as failures, right? So the quiet weeks were read like, oh, I'm a failure. I'm not so much of a good coach. Maybe these other coaches are doing better than me. And all those things can be going through the mind of the coach, which may not be true, right? So emotions on the right after they are low, right? Quiet weeks are read as expected. So there's this calmness that has come into the person. And it's just beautiful to see. All right. So what's the conclusion? Quiet weeks stopped being read as failure and started being read as delayed payoff, still in motion. So it's a payoff. It's just delayed, but it will happen. It's inevitable. As long as you do not stop, it cannot be avoided. In fact, everything that can make you stop is just trying to conspire to make you think that things are not working or things are not moving. But if you move beyond that interpretation of data, I think you are reigning, like you reign on top of the game. All right. So why you stop marketing at the exact moment, part six, why you stop marketing at the right exact moment is about to start working. This is very painful. This is very sad, but it's like so many ways do we find ourselves in situations like that where it's like, oh, you are doing the right thing, you're doing the right thing as a coach or a consultant, but it's just giving up too early. Just giving up too early. And I've experienced it many times, and I've come to understand that now. I'm not doing something wrong. Like it was a painful and long realization, but I'm not doing something wrong. Whatever you've been placed, whatever you've been called to do, those are you've been called to impact. In God's own timeline, you are on time. But it takes conviction, right? It takes conviction. All right. So knowing the lag exists and trusting it live and trusting it live are two different things, are two different battles. This persists most of the time in our webinars to address this thing. Because this is where I don't know, would I say this is where trouble shows up? Right? People will actually know this now about their lag time and knowing that okay, they need to actually stick to a certain baseline, regardless of what they see, and still not do it. And everybody finds themselves there somewhere somehow. You know many things that you're supposed to do in your life that are supposed to change situations around you, but you still find yourself not doing them. Why is that the case? So one of the key reasons that you usually hear is that people usually say that it's hard to trust a delay you can't see. All right. So the delay is not visible. When you check it, it's not like it's a delay because you're actually putting effort. So I'm putting effort. Why am I not seeing the thing? It's not easy to read it like, oh, this is actually a time thing. It will work. It's not easy to read it like that. So what does it look like? So maintaining effort through the quiet stretch requires believing in a lag that offers no immediate evidence of working. So sometimes this is another thing, right? People sometimes think that like, what if I keep on posting, but still nothing will change? So it's that you believe in the lag, oh, but then you don't believe that holding on to the lag would actually cause a change, or keep posting through it will actually cause a change. So the counter tactic, so you want to map the personal lag once. So if you map it well, you know that it actually exists. And then using past data turns an abstract leap of faith into a concrete evidence-based timeline. That's far easier to trust going forward. This webinar is a very special one. When I was preparing for it, I was like, this is it. Like this is it. This is one of the major things beyond like failure or success in life, beyond even coaching or content creation. What is your interpretation of things not working? Things not seemingly working. What's the interpretation? This is a whole summary. And the whole summary of the webinar is things seemingly not working doesn't mean they are not working. Right? So third thing that second thing that people also say as well when it comes to hearing what they're supposed to do and not doing it. All right, I think I can continue. All right, so what if the lag is different for every platform I use, right? So what it looks like. So coaches actually coaches active. Okay. I think I'll block my notification after this. All right. So coaches active across multiple platforms often assume a single lag number should apply everywhere, which is not always true, right? So what's the counter tactic? The lag generally varies by platform and by the type of visibility work. Mapping it separately per channel produces a far more accurate, more useful picture than a blended average. So the foundation of it is that people on Instagram behave differently than they behave on Facebook and on TikTok as well, and YouTube as well. Different behaviors everywhere. So it definitely can be the same lag time, right? It will vary. It will vary. All right. I do a lot on YouTube. I'll say YouTube is 90 days. 90 days. And I will even put it like, so anybody who is serious about like seeing results, at least seeing something significant, particularly when it comes to not making money on YouTube just for the views, but then like using YouTube as a marketing platform for your business, right? It will often take like giving it 6 months at least of just being on it and having a minimum that I want to a minimum baseline. I'm currently doing 3 videos a day. on YouTube because of what I'm working on, and I'm building a library on YouTube. That's what I'm doing every time I'm doing these webinars, right? But beyond when I'm done with those webinars, I'll maintain at least a baseline on one video. So I will never. I'm going to be done with these webinars definitely by lately, ending of September or so. Right? But for the next 3 months, be October, November, December, at least there'll be one video ongoing on the platform. And there will be so much, the real mathematical number here or mathematical concept here is the compound effect. And the intent of it is to make it impossible for you not to be seen and for you not to, not only seen, for you not to be, impossible for you not to be visible, impossible for you not to be authoritative in the markets. That's two. Impossible for you not to be converting. That's three. And then four, impossible for you not to have good enough capacity to deliver any proper project. Because as you start making content, what you usually see is that if you're actually making content, that's my personal observation. Like, the more you start going out there, sharing about what you do, people want to join you. And sometimes they may not even be there to even take a salary. Like they are willing to just join the mission, be a part of it. And pay benefit, income, and all those things will just come along the line. And it makes everything just beautiful. But then you just have, and I'm sharing because of the point on capacity. I spoke about capacity. So it's authority, visibility, conversion, and then capacity. All right. So, but I mean, an honest assumption. So what if my lag is much longer than 60 days? So some channels genuinely run longer. So we said steady to 60 days, but don't forget, I mean, I just mentioned to you 90 days here, right? So YouTube, I've been on YouTube, I've been working, posting videos on YouTube. I'm working on more than 23 channels on YouTube. So that's for the last 6 years. So I know YouTube a lot personally. So I can tell that YouTube at least 60 days. Don't stop anything you're doing. Particularly when you're trying to grow a business on the platform, not views. If it's just trying to make money with views, I'll reduce it. I'll reduce it even by half. If your content is good enough, within 45 days, 60 days, you should start seeing some results. You should start seeing some the channel popping up and being visible. And then what if I can't find a clean pattern in my data? That's a genuine excuse. So 6 months is a minimum, not a guarantee. Not a guarantee. Noisy data usually still shows a rough cluster. So if it genuinely doesn't, right, extend the window before concluding there is no lag. So you want to, I mean, you are trying to build a system that will actually help your business. So just concluding quickly will be hard. And think about it. If you understand this lag thing in getting things done, like you will never there will never be anything that you call failure in your business, right? It changes everything, even things that will go wrong. It will put you in a natural state of mind, a state of heart to be able to see the good in everything, be it a good or a bad thing, or a seemingly bad thing. This is how the big players play. I think Brian Tracy said something once that he consulted with a number of Fortune 500 CEOs and I mean top executive, and he was talking about the handling crisis as a leader. And he said that the one thing that he observed among the top performing leaders that he worked with is the ability to remain calm in the middle in the midst of crisis. Your ability to go like, okay, this is bad, this is damaging, this may cost me, but I'm calm in it. I'm not going to let it dictate my emotions or dictate my decisions. Anybody that always stay consistently in that type of states, I don't think you can win over them. I don't think you can easily defeat them. There are many leaders there, and that's actually where you want to move, to not be moved by anything, regardless of the amount of pressure that you are being pushed towards. And then lastly, what if the quiet stretch really is because something broke? And that's genuine. That could be happening. So the lag explains a normal, expected quiet period. It doesn't excuse an offer or targeting problem. So you may actually be dealing with an offer problem or just targeting the wrong market as well. So if bookings stay flat well past your map lag, right, that's a different diagnosis, right? So you want to look at your offer or your targeting. All right, so part seven, the lag proof content rule that keeps you consistent through dry spells, right, or through dry season. So it's a very simple thing that you can apply over and over that will make sure that you are just consistent regardless of the season. So the lag proof baseline, two rules. One, set one fixed minimum weekly visibility baseline. So something that you do, content that a number of posts that you do weekly, regardless of what happens, regardless of what's going on, that is not your maybe you can post actually five, like when you are on top of your game emotionally, I mean mentally, you are ready to grow that business. Maybe you can post 5 times a week. That five cannot be your baseline, because that five is assuming that you are in the right state of mind and things have been going well. But what can you do even if you what can be so easy to do, so simple to do that, like even if you feel so bad waking up that day, even if you feel like things are not going the right way for you, like doing it will not cost so much time. And in fact, you can even schedule it to be done. So if it's just 2 posts a week that are your baseline, that's easier. So you just make sure that at the beginning of the month you are just posting 8 posts. You are just scheduling 8 posts at a go. So two to two for every 4 weeks. So you just have your baseline over there. So whatever the market is saying, whatever the bookings are saying, you are immune to them. And by the time you keep on doing things that way, you will just keep on shrinking the how they call it, the lag time. It just won't have any power or any effect over your business. So set one phase minimum weekly visibility baseline, right? I spoke about that. And then two, then hold the baseline through every quiet stretch, no exemptions. So especially the stretch immediately following a strong push. That's when it's converting. So there's the period of time where it seems like you've pushed so much, you've done a lot, right? That's the time when like conversion is coming. But most of the time when conversion doesn't come immediately, right, it feels like we're not doing something, but that's not the case. That's not the case. All right. So lastly, so why does your pipeline feel random? And then here is the real timeline and what changes next. Simple way to answer this. So you stop reading quiet weeks as failure and start reading them as a delayed payoff, still in motion. So it's a payoff, just it seems delay, but it's in motion, it's moving towards you, it's coming to you. Those bookings are coming to you, those orders are coming to you. It cannot be avoided. And that what actually happens is that when you hold on, when you still keep on moving, you are acting in faith but fed back with data because you spent time to map what was actually wrong with your business. So, and that's just what will make it inevitable for those things to come to you. And then mapping the personal lag and maintaining a minimum baseline through quiet stretches turns feast or famine into predictable, manageable rhythm instead of anxiety-driven guessing game. So you now have the framework, the audit, and a real case study of what one known number can actually change. What's left is mapping your own lag and holding your baseline through the quiet stretches. And that brings us to the end of this webinar. So you already know the feast and famine isn't random. So let's map it out with you. So we're offering to you a free 15 minutes discovery call to go through this entire process. And we'll be glad to hear about your business personally and see how best we can help you. Of course, behind the free, there is a premium offer as well. I don't need to tell you that as a coach. You already know. All right. And then in the next webinar, all right, webinar number 6, we look at why does staying visible feel like a second full-time job you never sign up for, right? I think there are some coaches watching this that would love to hear it. So next, we tackle what happens when staying visible enough to keep the pipeline full, start costing more than the business is meant to support. And that's a star reality for many coaches as well. So thank you once again for staying with me to the end of this webinar. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye-bye.